Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have a 2026 Hyundai Palisade. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 2026 Hyundai Palisade, and this is the XRT Pro trim. So this is going to be Hyundai's first shot with the Palisade at kind of an off-road focused model. I think they did a really good job. The styling is really cool in the exterior. It comes in a bunch of really cool colors, but I think the white kind of sets it off with the black accents and all this cool stuff that you do get with the XRT Pro. Might be one you want to add to your list if you're thinking about getting one of these Palisades. Now, what's different about the XRT Pro, you'll notice the ride height is going to be a little bit taller than the standard Palisade. As well, this gets a 255/60/18 Continental tire, so it's a little bit more aggressive, but you don't get a ton of noise on the highway like some of those really aggressive off-road tires. Now, this one also gets an electronic rear limited slip, so if you are getting a little bit more into the off-road stuff, that would be something that's a pretty big deal. But for the most part, a lot of stuff is just going to be kind of style, features inside, so we'll touch on some of that more. But for now, let's put it in drive and go for a spin around. Now let's begin with what powers all of these Palisades. Now it is also important to note that there is a hybrid version of the Palisade now, so we'll review that one separately, but the rest of the Palisade lineup gets a 3.5 liter V6 that's got about 287 horsepower. Now what's great, it's got an 8-speed automatic that is so smooth and comfortable on the road. It's crazy how good these cars have become. The old Palisade was a pretty great model, but this one they've just improved so much, whether it's that H-Track all-wheel drive system, some of the luxury and comfort. I mean, this really is quiet inside and so nice, so nice to spend a lot of time behind the wheel of. Again, let's focus on the XRT Pro because we will touch on some of the stuff of the other models, but like I said, the Pro, the big difference is going to be that little bit raised ride height, the wheel and tire setup on this one. You also will notice those red recovery hooks, whether it's at the front of the vehicle or the back of the vehicle. That just gives it that little bit more kind of off-road style. Now, one thing that's cool about the XRT Pro is that it's going to come standard with the H-Track. So that's Hyundai's all-wheel drive system. So what that means is you get some really cool drive modes in here. So there's a little selector right here on the dash. You can go between an Eco, Normal, Sport, My Drive, and then there's also the terrain modes. So if you press that button again, you've got snow, mud, and sand. So this really is built to do some kind of fun off-roading, whether you're going to be in the snow like we are here very shortly, or you're out in the desert climate. You can definitely have some fun behind the wheel of this Palisade. This one will also tow 5,000 pounds. So it is important to note all Palisades, when they come equipped, this one does get a different tow mode. Also in the digital gauge cluster here, there's a really cool kind of tow setting menu. So if you're not familiar, you don't do a lot of towing, that will give you like a checklist in there. You can set up your trailers in there. There's a bunch of usable stuff that just makes it really easy, whether you got a little utility trailer or the boat, just to hook up and go. Now, a few other things on the exterior of this particular one. There's going to be a really cool LED setup at front. It almost has like a light bar that runs through the front of the grille. The lights all look really cool. I think this just has a really cool kind of style and presence to it. And it definitely seems like if you weren't sure of what it was, you'd have to kind of do a double take to figure it out. They did such a great job of making this really look like a luxury vehicle now. It is a pretty cool kind of overall design language that Hyundai's used, and I am definitely here for it. Now, at the back of the Palisade, this one will get a power liftgate, so whether that's on the key fob, you just push the button back there, you can pop the kind of liftgate open and load everything up. Like I said, maybe you're going on a cabin trip for the weekend or just hitting the grocery store. Just makes it really easy to load this big vehicle up. And even with that third row up, you do get quite a bit of space back there. Now, that's one big thing with the Santa Fe now in the Hyundai lineup. That will also have a third row, but the Palisade's just going to give you more room. Even where I'm sitting here comfortably in the driver's seat, it's a really spacious interior. Some of these new SUVs kind of cramp you in so much, but the Palisade feels really wide in here, and I just like the general layout of everything. It's just so well designed and comfortable in here, even all the way back to the third row. Usually third row seats, where I'm kind of at 6'1", I don't really fit very well. But this one I noticed I can crawl in the back, there's USB-C charging and cup holders back there, and it's actually a really comfortable seat. But if you're not hauling people with, you can actually just pull the little handle on the back. That will kick down kind of a 60-40 third row. So that makes it nice if you're hauling stuff, need a little bit of extra space. And then one thing that's cool in this particular one, it's a power second row. So you can click the button, it will fold that seat down pretty much flat for you. So you have a nice loading area that actually is a very surprising amount of room. Now into the second row, what's cool, the third row, like I said, has USB-C charging. The second row also will get some USB-C charging kind of on the back of my seat here. And then there's also a household plug. So if the kids get a little older, kind of keep their devices all charged up when you're on the go, maybe you're hitting the road for a road trip, that is really nice that there's USB-C charging in the first, second, and third row, which is always convenient, and it just makes it easy to keep everyone happy when you're on the move. Not to mention there's also a third zone climate control back there, so you can keep that zone kind of more comfortable in the back if everyone's a little hot or cold, and then you get a dual zone climate control up here for the driver and the passenger. Let's talk about the driver's seat. So one thing I noticed right away when I hopped into the Palisade, it has really kind of a thicker steering wheel. But what's really cool, it's a leather wrapped wheel and it's gonna be heated for those Minnesota winters. So it was cold, it was only about 40 degrees this morning. So there's a remote start on the key fob. You can fire the vehicle up. It's got heated as well as ventilated seats for the driver and the passenger up front here, and that 2-level heated steering wheel. It is one of my favorite features ever. When your hands are nice and toasty when you're on the go, it makes such a big difference. I love that feature. I wish every new vehicle had it because it just is that good. But then on the steering wheel, you got all your controls to kind of some of your pertinent information. Now you will get 2 digital displays in here. Now what's cool, you can hear the blinker is on. I actually get a camera. When I turn the blinker on left or right, it actually pulls up a little kind of blind spot monitoring camera. That is such a good feature too. It is such an underrated safety feature. It makes it so easy because this is a large SUV, but if you can kind of see what's going around when you flip that camera on, that is great. I also really like that safety feature, and these Hyundais come with a ton of safety. Not only that blind spot camera, but in the mirrors, there's also blind spot monitoring there. You're gonna have emergency braking in these vehicles. There's also kind of a prevention from letting the rear, if you got the kiddos in the second row, from opening the door. There's just so much good stuff in here, as well as the adaptive cruise control system. Now it's kind of hard to show on camera because it has to be set when you're moving, but you can set that kind of distance to the vehicle in front of you. It will keep that distance. It is such a great feature. I love how easy it is. Like I said, maybe you're running up to the cabin, got a couple-hour road trip, just really kind of takes a piece of mind off and makes it really simple. Now, what about the ride and drive? So like I said, with the V6, I do like that. A lot of manufacturers are going with the smaller turbocharged engines, which I don't mind because you kind of get that instant boost. But with the 6-speed in here and the ability to kind of change through some of your drive modes, you can really fine tune your driving style. And it's very smooth. I was blown away at just how comfortable these Hyundai vehicles are. You forget and you hop into them, and I mean, most new cars are so good nowadays, but these just eat up the road. And even maybe because of the larger XRT Pro wheel and tire setup, it really does make it nice and comfortable when you're kind of cruising through these sort of city back roads. You usually get the big sewer drains and cracks in the road, and it's kind of the end of road construction season here, but it is just a really nice, comfortable ride. Then when you got the heated or ventilated seats going, and this also gets the Bose sound system in here. So it's actually gonna have wireless Apple CarPlay as well as wireless Android Auto. So I had my Spotify going, whether it's listening to podcasts or music. The Bose sound system is awesome in this car, especially when you get the third row. If you maybe want to drown out some noise from the back, that is a really cool setup. Then with the display here, so on the left side, which is my digital gauge cluster, it will kind of show me my maps. So if I want to set a destination, it will show me over here on this side. Also, you can kind of see some of your safety settings in there, and then the off-road settings. So the XRT Pro gets this cool off-road menu in the main screen here that you can look through, and then it will also show you some of that off-road stuff over on the digital gauge cluster. So if you are really planning on hitting the trails, that's a pretty sweet feature to kind of keep track of all your information. Now, one other thing, I'm coming up to a stop sign here. It will actually show me on the digital gauge cluster that there is a stop sign or the speed limit sign. So that is also a pretty nice safety feature. Now, a few other things from the driver's seat here. Like I said, with the infotainment screen, it's kind of tipped towards me. So it's more of a driver-centric menu, but it does work really nice. The Apple CarPlay is lightning fast in there. You can just swipe through immediately. There's no real lag in the screen, which is nice. And you can go into the main Hyundai menu, which also has navigation built into here. You can get weather with a Blue Link subscription, as well as some sports stuff in here. And then, like I said, the trailering and the off-road menu, which is really nice. Then you do keep kind of some physical buttons down here for pulling up the maps or some of your other stuff. And then just below that, that's going to be where your heated seats are. So you've just got like a touch sensitive button down there, which is pretty convenient. Heated, ventilated seats. Like I said, these are so comfortable, and they kind of have like a mountainscape on them, which I really like with the XRT Pro, and then just the XRT in the headrest. this is such a comfortable ride. I can't stress that enough, just how nice this thing is on the road. I mean, at 40 miles an hour, you're getting almost no wind noise in the cabin. I was worried with the XRT Pro that sometimes when you go with kind of the off-road wheel and tire setup, they get a little bit noisier, a little bit kind of rougher ride, but really, I don't get that at all out of this Palisade. It's just so comfortable. Now, if you're looking at third row SUVs, this market is very competitive. There's a lot of really great third row SUVs right now, whether it's the style you're looking for, the fuel economy. I mean, there's a lot of good cars, but this one is really pretty cool. And I love the look of the Palisade. I think they did such a great job with the design and some of the off-road usability. If you want it, you can absolutely have it. But if you're just using this for what they'd call mall crawling, I think it works the same and gives you the look. But really, some of the tech in here is great. I mean, the infotainment screen, not all of them are the same nowadays. Some of them work really well. This particular one just has a great feel to it. And I mean, if you're really considering something that gives a little bit more space, but you want the look and you don't want to sacrifice maybe going to a minivan, I think the Palisade's definitely one to add to the list. Overall, I like the design inside here. So there's a huge storage area down below. So whether if it's your purse or anything else you need to store in the vehicle, the door cards are also really nice. It's kind of these circle door handles that kind of ghost in, but it works. There's room over there. And then I like that I've got the wireless charging pad down here with the USB-C charging. So one other thing, visibility. Sometimes in these big SUVs, you can't see anything out of the back, but this one is pretty good. I was very impressed. Not to mention the safety with the camera as well, which I really love, but just being able to see out of the side and the back of the vehicle, the mirrors are very well placed in here, and there's not a huge blind spot. I mean, I can see out the back windows. There's also little window screens back there, so if you got the kids in the car seat, you can kind of keep the sun out of their eyes, but you can still see through it, if that makes sense. So visibility was just kind of a non-issue, which you can't quite say about all third row SUVs. Now again, kind of back to the third row SUV capability, this is going to be the 7-passenger. So that captain's chair or the second row, you can actually do a bench seat in some of the Palisade as well. So if you're looking for 8 passengers, that would be the option. But it seems like the most popular one is going to be kind of the captain's chair setup, but it does work really well, and those seats are also really comfortable back there. Yeah, this thing just kind of eats up all the bumps in the road. I mean, this is a terrible road I'm on right now, and it really just kind of cruises over all these cracks and sewer drains and all this stuff. I'm very impressed at just how comfortable this thing is. I think if you're even coming out of maybe like a German luxury SUV, but you want to keep the price tag down, Palisade might be something you want to consider. Now, speaking of that price tag, MSRP on this particular one, all loaded up as it is going to be right around $51,300. So yes, the Palisade can start quite a bit less if you're looking to keep the sticker price down, or it can even get to be a little bit more if you really want some cool equipment and luxury out of the top tier trim level. But I mean, the average new car price is about $50,000. So to get a third row SUV for the average new car price right now, there's a lot to like about these Palisades. This one has the sunroof, the Bose, the wireless CarPlay, all the safety and cool styling. I think you gotta add it to the list to come out, take for a spin, and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 26 Hyundai Palisade. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by either one of our Hyundai locations. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.